And we're live for another Friday night pint. Just me and Scott tonight. Apologies for everyone who's disappointed, but it's just me and Scott. And yeah, listen, we're talking about Rodriguez. He seems to be a lot of news about Rodriguez past few weeks about him being unhappy, unsettled. Now rumors coming out that he is going to be potentially being sold to Real Betis in January for £2.5 million, just 6 months into his time at West Ham. So there's that. And we'll talk a little bit about Lopetegui and the potential that now after that performance, can we kick on? Was that a blip? But obviously good to see you, Scott.
And you, mate, and you, as always.
Yes.
Good to be back here with everyone. A little building up to tomorrow. Big game tomorrow. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm 50-50 looking forward to it. I don't want to lose. Honestly, if we win that game, mate, please. But it's going to be a nervy one. It's going to be horrible if we lose. But we'll see, mate. The Rodriguez news, it's come out that we could potentially be sending him to Real Betis in Spain. It seems to not be working out. It seems to be not be happy. And 2.5 million, it seems like we're probably just going to end up breaking even, because even though we signed him on a free, when you take into consideration agents' fees, signing fees, all this stuff, contract, it's not even a profit. And I feel like we're so bad at selling players. Like, I really do. I just think we never seem to sign someone. It's only really Flynn Downs we seem to do all right with, and obviously Rice, but Rice was highly valued. But it seems for the most part, these types of players, you think, come on, like, surely he's got to be worth a bit more. He's not that bad, is he?
Well, this is the thing, mate. I don't think he's that bad. If it ain't working out for him, I don't think he's been terrible. He's not been the worst, but maybe he's just not adapted to the Premier League. It's just one of them type of players. We know some players don't really suit it. They, his pace lets him down a little bit. We saw that in the game against Chelsea. It stood out the most. But I thought, Everton, I thought he did okay. The game before that, he did okay. But like you said, 2.5 million. It's basically it's his wages. It's what we paid to sign him on. So we're recouping what we've lost, so to speak. And look, if they're getting him off the wages and getting him off the books to bring someone else in, then it could work out a good bit of business. But if we're just getting him off the books for the sake of it, or because he's not happy here, then it's not a good move for the club.
Yeah. I see someone asked before we went live if we can recall James Ward-Prowse, and I don't believe we can.
I would imagine if we can, we'd probably have to pay to have him released out of the contract, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But
it's not impossible.
I don't think it's an option, but it presents problems then, because we then have to go and replace Rodriguez, because like I said, he hasn't been bad. Like, he ain't exactly pulled up any trees, but he's an option. And you would imagine, you look at it like this whole period has been a real tough one in general, I think, for the team. And the way we've been playing Rodriguez, he's had a tough job. The whole team's not played well. He's played either with Alvarez or Souček, so he's not played with a proper centre midfielder where there's in a balanced midfield. Like we got to see with Souček and Soler. So I don't see the benefit other than us just getting a bit of money back. In fact, I think if we kept him to the end of the season, his value would probably go up, and we could sell him for a little bit more next summer. He's on a 2-year deal, so unless we've identified someone to come in, it seems like it's just a waste of time. So,
well, this is it, mate, and this is the thing. It's just like I said. Okay, look, if the player's unhappy or the player's not settled here, that's fine. You shouldn't be holding someone, holding a gun to someone's head and saying that you got to stay here even if you don't want to. There's family terms, that sort of thing, that you've got to look at the player outside of the football. But if it's a footballing reason, like you said, mate, it's madness to release him or let him go without having the option there of someone to come in. And the midfield, probably, as we were saying after the Newcastle game, that's the most balanced our midfield has looked all season. And that's without two holding midfielders playing it. You're without your Alvarez, without your Rodriguez. So it is a worry. But I just think it will be madness. Alvarez at the minute, we don't know what's going on with him, with his head. He seems still diving into rash challenges and picking up silly yellow cards that he doesn't need to. Having Rodriguez there is a good backup.
Yeah, no, listen, I completely agree. It's just, and even then, even if it is, he's unsettled. I look at, even as a player, like, you sign for a club, you commit to a club, at least, like, give it a season. You know what I mean? Yeah. You've been here a few months. You just got to dig in and do your job, So if we decide, no, we need you, you be a professional, realize, well, I chose to come here. Okay, you need me, I'll stick my head down and work. You're paying me a lot of money. I'll just fucking go with it. That's what I'm saying. So many players now, it's like, oh, this ain't as good as I thought it would be. Oh, I want to go. Yeah. Like, that's life, mate.
Yeah.
Stick to commitment.
The thing is, mate, when you look at, you go back and look at Craig Dawson. He wanted to go to Wolves. We needed to keep him. We agreed that he could go in January, because he was moving for family reasons. But he stuck it out. He stuck out the 6 months. He stuck out that time and gave as good as he could for us. And that's it. The loyalty of players now. I can't talk about Rodriguez because I don't know him, but like loyalty of players in general nowadays, it's just non-existent. Do you know what I mean? It's just non-existent. This new breed of footballer, it's awful. It's awful. There's no loyalty. There's no, like we've said before. We do Q&As with players. We've been to Q&As with players and things like that. 10, 15 years time, you ain't going to see any of these Premier League players doing that type of thing. They're happy to get their money. They're happy. They'll go and play for your rival for an extra £1. And that's the problem we've got with modern-day footballers.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a massive sense of entitlement. And that's just what it is. So I'll be very interested to see if we do need him. Because why would we shortchange ourselves and leave ourselves? Yeah. I know we've got Souček and Alvarez, but like you said, we don't know the Alvarez. I don't think we can rely on him week after week after week. And I would like to see Rodriguez get a chance in a team where once we know what our best team is and we've got the balance right. That's what I want to see. But, if he's already, just because things ain't been going well and he's been in and out of the team, well, it's been the same for everyone.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And it's been the same for everyone. We rode. I think this is the least consistent I've ever known us to be, team-wise. Starting 11-wise. You can't sit there and you can't really predict the team. We seem to change every week. I think there's only twice. I think we've started with the same 11 back to back, and it's madness. And. I wish it was for the fact that he was picking a side to counter or to where he thinks he could get the weak points of the opposition. It just screams of he's picking a side because he doesn't know what the best 11 is. And I'm sort of hoping now, more probably by luck than judgment, that victory against Newcastle has sort of forced this is the right balance of a side, if you get what I mean. Certain things played it. It wasn't the fact that he chose that. It was, the Alvarez suspension. It was, I think, didn't Rodriguez pick up a knock? And these type of things that sort of put that midfield together. Look, I might be doing him a disservice, mate. He may have turned around and told Rodriguez you dropped and thingy, but certain things have played their way into him stumbling across this midfield.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'll take some comments. We'll get some comments in. There's a few other players people want us to talk about. We've been linked with. Steve says no one plays for the badge anymore. Gone are the days of Brooklyn, Bonds, Noble, etc. Yeah, it definitely seems that way.
Do you know what? Right, actually, with that, do you know 2 players who I think play for the badge?
Yeah, go on.
The two Czech boys. No matter what happens, they give their all. And
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but then it's like, would they have that? Would they have the loyalty? Like they play, like everyone, a lot of people anyone can give their all. Do you know what I mean? You get players to give, it doesn't make them loyal.
Well, this is the thing, mate. I sort of see I see them two boys being loyal. Souček probably at the height when he was putting the goals in the back of the net could have moved somewhere else. But
I don't remember any bids coming in. But like I said, until that loyalty's tested, you never really know, innit?
Of course you don't. Of course you never know. But it's just when you see the way that they're more like old school footballers. Do you know what I mean? You've got Sufal who was still travelling on a bus when he came to us. That type of thing. They're old school. They're always happy to interact with the fans. You see it outside the training ground. Souček's one of the only players that still gets out of his car and takes photos with people and signs signatures.
Yeah.
More players should look at players like him and Sufal and the professionalism that they have. That they give
professional
all the time.
That's what they are.
But that's it, mate. And that's the thing. But that's the difference. It's being professional, but giving back to the people that, at the end of the day, are the reason you're playing. You're playing for that foot. Not you're playing for the football club, but they cheer you on. And this is the thing. There's that the separation between fans and football now is the biggest I've ever known it, ever.
Yeah, of course. Dad can't hide his hatred. It's not hatred. Listen, I love Souček. He seems like a great bloke, but I'm just being realistic. We're talking about players today. Until a player's loyalty is tested, you can't say they're loyal. So, I look at Bowen, and to me, I feel like Bowen would be one of them players, but I can't say that for sure because until we get a big bid from Liverpool or something, we wouldn't know. People could have said that about Declan Rice. Oh yeah, he seems like proper loyalty, like knows and all that. But guess what? When the opportunity come, he left. So it's really hard to say that. So like I said, love them. But loyal. But that's what I'm saying. Loyal means it depends what you mean by loyal. Loyal is like, okay, if they got a chance to go play for Real Madrid, would they? And we needed them, would they stay? They're good professionals. They're exemplary at what they do. But at the traditional sense of loyalty, like would they, no matter how good they are, would they be like one club players, like in the form of Bonds of Brooklyn and all that? If they were exceptional, and people were wanting them and stuff like that.
I think the thing is though, Dan, is when you look at players, if you go back to the Bonds, the Brooklyn, and that type of thing, the football wasn't the same, the market wasn't the same, but not only that, you had quality players like that in most sides back then. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot different. Again, a lot different now, modern day football, and you can't sit there and Real Madrid come knocking. The club, and you've got to put the club as part of this as well. You see players throw their toys out the pram and go on strike and that type of thing to get moves away from a football club. But also you've got to look at the club as well, because sometimes the clubs sit there and go, we want the money. You can go. They did it to Craig Bellamy. Bellamy didn't want to go. He was happy playing for West Ham. But the club wanted the money. And then they tried to spin it that the player wanted to go. And this is the thing. You've got, you have to take that into account as well.
Di Canio didn't want to go to Man United. He wanted to stay. And you have that. Like I said, I think there is, isn't it? Until you really know when that offer comes, you don't know. But can I say that they're 100% professional, that if we didn't want to sell them, we said, look, we need you, they wouldn't throw their toys out the pram. Yeah, I'm very confident that they are professionals, that if they were like, no, we can't sell you, they'd just get on with it. Which is even what I could say for Rice, that if that last season, if we wouldn't have sold him to Arsenal, he probably would have just got on with it. Yeah. So I think that's the key word is professionals. Trainer Owen says, I think it's time to let players that want to go off and start bedding the youth into the squad. The only way to get better is experience in the first team. Fully agree, mate. Although we've loaned all of them out. Jamie says, a World Cup winner can't be a bad player.
No, that is true. They can't be a bad player, but they sometimes can't adapt to the league that they're playing in.
Yeah, or don't suit the team that they're in. All right, good enough.
Listen, he ain't the only World Cup player that's come to England and flopped. So that's
yeah,
how you
of
got
course. Yeah.
Don't ask me to name one because I
can't. What World Cup winner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been a
few.
I don't know if that's probably a good little fucking quiz. Probably there's got to be a few Spanish players, isn't there?
Yeah,
that have won the World Cup. But so very true, Dan. Entitled, but don't want to actually do any hard work. Good evening, Dan and James. Good old James here, my mate. That's your name now, mate. I'm hearing we have a budget of 70 to 75 million in January. We already have a bid of 35 mil for a striker. Then hearing trying to loan a striker. There's also supposedly agreement for centre midfield. Bloody hell, Colin! Like, this is a super writing game. I would hope that was true. That sounds brilliant. But
and that's what we said. We've letting Rodriguez go. If there is a deal agreed with another centre midfielder, then so be it. Get one out the door, get a better one in. That's part and parcel of football.
Yeah, but do you? I'm not calling into question Colin or anything, or I don't know where you've got information of, but I'm taking that with a massive grain of salt because I can't see us spending 70 to 75 million in January and then slapping down 35 for a striker in January. Listen, I hope that's true. That would be brilliant.
But Dan, what you got to think, mate, is you've got to take into account, is there deals already done for certain players at the start of next season where they know they're going to recoup the money?
Yeah, I mean, potentially, but unless that deal is fully agreed, it's hard to say. Like, say, for instance, like we agreed to sell Kudus. So I'm going, okay, next season we're going to sell you Kudus. And then Kudus gets a massive injury. And then they go, well, we're not going to sign Kudus now.
Yeah.
Or Paqueta. We'll sell Paqueta, but then Paqueta goes and gets banned. Like, you can't. I don't think you can budget a January transfer window off of sales next season unless you've got it in black and white, because between then and then anything can happen. And if that happens and you can't make those sales, well, then you fucked us FFP wise.
Yeah, of course. You sit there and you spend that sort of cash in January, you could then get to the start of next season and go, well, we haven't sold the players that we thought we were going to sell. We haven't finished where we are going to sell. So our budget for the summer is going to be limited. It's just how this financial fair play malarkey works. I don't fully understand it. I know that you can't go over 108 million loss or something like that. So I get that, but it's it's difficult. It is difficult, but the problem is the signing players in January normally, unless you're getting a player whose contract's running down, the prices are overinflated.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people in the chat talking about our links with, and it's come out, Evan Ferguson from Brighton, who seems to be a little bit sort of unhappy with his playing time at Brighton, and he's someone who seems like quite a bright prospect, 20 years old. It'd be very interesting if we could get him and what the price would be. I think he's been linked with Leeds and stuff like that. That would be an interesting one for me. Like I said, very young striker, what we need, and someone who was overrated. He's falling out of favour. And if Brighton would sell him to us, because I guess they see us as a bit of a rival in the table, I don't know.
Yeah, mate, with Brighton that the fact that they if the money's right, they will sell players. They've done it in the past. They've got a good track record of doing that and making a profit on their players. Would he? He'd be a good signing for us. Like you said, I think at one point last season, weren't he on similar form to what Haaland was on? And that screams a lot for a young striker coming into the Premier League. So it potentially could be a good signing. It's not. You look at we were going in for Duran, and that was a young, hungry striker. I'm sure Ferguson's got a bit. He's a bit built as well, isn't he? Quite physical type of striker as well, which is what we need the way we play with the system that we've got. So that could be a good move, mate. But like I'm sure someone said in the comments, he has got injury problems, which is always a worry. But
especially at that
you know,
age.
let's be honest, mate. Antonio had injury problems. I think we've got 3 seasons out of him now where he's not really picked up an injury or serious injury anyway.
Yeah, it depends on what the nature of his injuries are, I
Hmm.
guess. That's going to be the thing. But yeah, loan deal. Brighton have apparently ruled out a loan deal for him, so you would have to sign him. And to me, it all depends on the fee. Maybe it is that 35 mil. I think Duran. I think it'd still be hard to get him, but I think him leaving Villa is not out of the question. I know he signed a new deal, but he's still not getting game time.
Nope.
And you've seen Villa's form slump, and he's still not giving him a chance, despite how I would come on and banging goals.
Yeah.
So he's got to be really frustrated.
I think with that one as well, though, mate. I think it'll be how set they are to get through to the next round in the Champions League. Because it's going to be hard to prize. I know he's not getting a lot of game time, but they rely heavily on Ollie Watkins in the way they play. They've still got Champions League football to play for, so it's going to be hard to prize a player who's okay. He's not getting a lot. He might not be happy, but that potential that he is playing Champions League football, you're going to say, look, come play for us. What we're playing for at the moment, or to stay out of the bottom half. It does play on players' minds. He could stay at Villa and progress with them in the Champions League as far as they'll go and finish higher in the table and then get a move in the summer if he really wants out. And there's always potential that Villa are that type of side that could go on a decent cup run and win a trophy.
Yeah. No, that 100%. So, but it's just, I think for him, it's about game time, I think. And if I'm him and I've just signed a new deal, I stayed with you, we all agreed with it, I'm banging in goals, you're still not playing me, I think, you're not serious. If I'm not getting a chance now, I'm never going to get a chance. And I can see with the way he was in the summer, I can see him going again and doing some antics. So if we get the chance again, West Ham, do not fuck it up. if we are lucky enough. A lot of people talking about this. Rayan Cherki's a sort of playmaker, attacking midfielder from Lyon, I believe. So there's is Lyon the team getting relegated? I think they're the ones. Is Lyon the one? Are they the ones that?
Are they in trouble?
They're in trouble, yeah. I think it was Lyon who are getting fine. They've got all sorts of problems coming their way, and they're getting I think they're getting relegated. I think it's either Lyon or it's someone else. Someone correct me. Someone will know in the chat if it's Lyon, because then if that's Lyon are in bother. Yeah, so it's Lyon. Lyon have got a provisional relegation or something for the end of the season. Wow. So. Yeah, so apparently been looking. Yeah. So they're in big trouble. So apparently Stuyton is monitoring. Yeah, that's who we sold Ben Rama to, which I think they said because they owe us money still for Ben Rama, but we owe them money still for Paqueta, which is around a similar amount. So it's sort of cancelled out. Because there was a worry about them being able to pay it back, the Ben Rama money, but we also owe them money for Paqueta.
Yeah, Jamie's comment here. Leon player team is watching, especially as they need to sell, otherwise they'll be in League Two.
Yeah. So I think that's it. The financial issues. So an attacking midfielder. We haven't had a clear out and out playmaker. It seems in a long while. He's a young player, obviously, at 21 years old. But you've got someone like Paqueta, who he seems to be not a traditional number 10 attacking midfielder. Creating chances is something that we've lacked. So I can't say, look, neither of us can say we've watched much Lyon and much of this kid. But I'm hoping, that he's looked at that and that's a player that we could do with. And we do need more youngsters in the team, more youth. So, and if we can get them on a bargain because they've got financial issues, then why not?
Exactly, mate. And the thing is as well, I think when you look at the average age of the squad, are we still not the oldest in the Premier League?
If not, we're one of them.
Yeah, it's mental that we've lost players, let players go, and we're still one of the oldest, if not the oldest, average age in the league. It's it's all right, Colin. Don't worry, mate. It's fine. At least you didn't call me
I
Graham.
like James is better. James is better. We're gonna go James for now.
But yeah, it's that is a worry, and like you said, we need some more youngsters. Look, I know we've got youngsters that we've loaned out. I get that, and it's hard to bed youngsters in. You can't bed them all in at the same time. So going out and getting experience is a key thing. You've got to look at the players that we had that were all potential. We all thought, oh, he should deserve a run inside. He should do. They've not gone and done anything. And this is the thing. This is sometimes why you get caught up in that nostalgia that they're academy prospects and all that. And sometimes it overshadows. Look, it might work bringing a player in. But if we look at the players that we've let go from the youth team, how many of them now have progressed and done well in the Premier League? Josh Cullen come back up after we let him go. He come into the Premier League with Burnley. Did okay, didn't really pull up any trees in the Premier League. So it is tough. It is tough. Look, sometimes you let players go and it comes back and bites you in the backside. But it's just hard. And for me, look, the current crop of youngsters that we've got, the boys that are out on loan, they deserve a chance in the first team. But we all know that managers of Premier League sides, unless you're a youngster who's a different cut above the rest, they're not going to gamble their career. They're not going to gamble their paycheck on putting a youngster in unless they're desperate. Yeah,
that's it. So listen, it's without a doubt we definitely need to bolster. And we need a striker, and I think this goes to Trainer Hammer's point. Then we have created chances in the past and no one's been able to finish them. But the thing is, this Lopetegui side, we haven't created enough chances, and I don't know how much that changed after the Newcastle game, but we was one of the lowest for chances created in the league. So big chances. So it's clearly something we need to work on. I think in the past, a lot of the issue has been the strikers not fitting the style of play and not matching up and things like that. And I think a lot of our problem, I don't know what you think, Scott, about this, but a lot of the reason why we're not creating chances isn't just about the actual creative players it's about the movement, I think, off the ball. The players not making runs and that's, I think, a big problem why we're not getting chances.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, mate. We've said this before. When you look at our side, we're very, very static. We get criticised a lot as a side by our own fans because we're moving the ball side to side, backwards and things like that. Now, you do that, and I've said this before on a post-match point, you do that to see what players are switching off. It's the whole reason City do it. City move that ball across that back line, back and forth. And all the time, their players are moving, making runs, and they're looking to see what defenders switched off, what players got an extra yard of space. And then they fizz that ball into that player. With us, unfortunately, we spend so much time knocking the ball back and taking an extra touch here and there that, one, our players don't move enough, and two, when they do, we haven't got the ball under control to then get it into them anyway. Yeah. And this is the problem.
And defenses are so organised for us. For a Man City, you can pick out that pinpoint pass, right, for their players and to split over a defence that's parked and sat back and break a team down. For us, when the defences, we're passing the ball around, they've got their shape and sat back, we don't have the ability to break a team like that down. So we need to, a team like West Ham, catch teams out quickly, before they've got everyone back, before they're organised, and try and hit them on the break and things like that. But we are so slow, and I think that's to our detriment.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem, mate. It is because we are that slow of the way we move the ball. We saw it last season under Moyes. Go all the way back to when we played Leverkusen in the semi-final at home. The way we played in that first half, the press, the moving the ball quickly, the 1-2 touch passes, we looked a completely different side. So the potential's there for us to do that type of thing because we've done it in spells last season. But we haven't got that consistency of keep playing at that higher tempo. And that probably comes to account with the age of the squad. We haven't got the legs, we haven't got the fitness levels. You look at Antonio against Newcastle on Monday night, run his nuts off. Worked himself really hard, but we know we can only get Antonio doing that for 60 minutes because he's aging. And then you're looking at the moment. You're looking who'd you bring? You're bringing Danny Ings on, not that type of player, but Danny Ings done well when he come on. He's done well every time he's come on this season. So it's just tough. But that's what I said. The movement from our side. If we're going to play that more possession-based football, the players have got to be switched on. The movement's got to be there all the time. Because,
but even if we are playing counter-attacking football, our counter-attacking is all. And that's what worries me for the Arsenal game, by the way. We are going to need to use counter-attacking football. But anytime we get on the counter, there's one player up there. Everyone else is so deep.
Yeah.
There's no option. You've just got one player surrounded by five. We even see that in Newcastle.
And then we go back to that stage before where we had a younger Antonio and the ball would go forward with him, but because he was so quick than everyone else, and you had Andy Carroll trying to get up the pitch to support him, he gets all the way into the corner with the ball, looks up the cross, there's no one to cross to. And you'll see against Newcastle, and I've seen it a couple of times this season, Fabianski's got the ball, run to the edge of the area to fizz it out to someone. He stopped because one, there ain't enough bodies going forward, or if he fizzes it out to, say, Somerville, who's the furthest forward player, no one's going to be able to keep up with him. And this is the issue we've got. And it, again, takes us back to that, why are we playing 11 men defensively in the box for set pieces? Why are we not leaving a player further up the field?
Yeah, that's it. Matt Rainey, 499 Super Chat. Thank you very much, Matt. We appreciate you. Happy 50th, happy 5th birthday to my son, Jet. Matt's not that old, it's a 50-year-old son. Happy 5th birthday to my son, Jet, on Sunday. Would be the bollocks if we slap them North London slags tomorrow. Heart says 2-1, but mine says 1-0. Listen, mate, I don't care what if we win. I don't care what the scoreline is. But happy 5th birthday to Jet, mate. Hope it's a great weekend for him.
That's it.
Really do. Jamie here brings up an interesting point. You were talking about youngsters. I remember Ashby kicked up a fuss for not getting any game time. He's nowhere to be seen and definitely wouldn't get right back now. And I was on a Newcastle channel before the game, and this guy Pete, good mate, when they signed Ashby, I was on Ashby watch, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on? He's not playing." He's like, "No, he's going to be a great understudy to Trippier, and he's going to learn off him, and he's going to eventually be molded to take his spot." And time would go on. I go, oh, still no Ashby. No, don't worry, he's going to come and go. Then he was I finally got him to admit, yeah, Ashby ain't going to make it. He finally said it. He's not going to do it.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Kent's jumped in before me. He's at QPR on loan.
Yeah. That's it.
And I think he's one of them players. If he had the right attitude and just got his head down and worked, it would have worked out for him at West Ham. Because a bit same as Nketiah. Nketiah was another one. He was in the team. He was playing well. Then chose to, well, I ain't going to stay here. I'm going to go and play somewhere else. And it fizzles out. And this is what I was saying. Sometimes it does work. But the players have got to have the right attitude and mentality. Sonny Perkins, another one. Given the opportunity, he looked okay. Now he's at Leyton Orient. And he's struggling there. This is the thing. You've just got to be. Sometimes you've just got to be. Wait your time, bide your time.
Yeah, and Ngakia, all that. Thing is, with players like Ngakia and Ashby, both same position, funny enough, we was genuinely getting them opportunities, and they was generally going to be a part of the plans. Yeah. Okay, they wouldn't have been starting every week, but they both went to clubs where they didn't start every week. Well, Ngakia got more game time than Ashby. Oh, you said Nketiah, and you meant Ngakia.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's someone I'm glad we didn't sign, by the way. But yeah, so they were more going to be a part of the plans. And get game time, substitutions and stuff like that. They was getting, and they just went to these clubs. One, obviously, Ngakia went to Watford. Who I can't remember if I think they were already in the Championship, weren't they? Yeah. But Ashby went to a club like Newcastle, who thinking they were going to be challenging for the league and all that. They got Champions League football. thinking he was going to be a big part of their plans, and he just didn't make it. He unsettled himself, and yeah, it was silly.
What's the term they say? You bite the hand that feeds.
Yeah, that's it. A bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush, as
there
they
you go,
say.
Mate. See? Exactly that.
You know, and that's the bloody thing. Amaditz says, if you say that, Scott, then Redknapp was either a magician, or lucky with the crop of youth he had with Cole, Lamps, Ferdinand.
See, but this takes me back to what I said. You look at them youngsters, and the period of time they come through was completely different to now, and they were levels above every other youngster that was in the side.
And you had Tony Carr.
Yeah, you're looking. Football's changed a lot, right? If you look back, look at Man United. They won the Premier League with a crop of youngsters. Beckham, Scholes, Butt, Neville. I've probably missed one out, but do you know what I mean? They had a decent crop of youngsters that they got into the first team and went on to win the league and done, won the Champions League and done amazing things. But the levels that they are were so much better than some of the current crop of players that we've coming through. And this is the hard thing, is that managers don't have time in the Premier League anymore. So it's hard, unless you've got a Declan Rice, a Wayne Rooney coming through in your academy that you know is something special. You can tell something special is going to cut it. It's hard for you to put them in, because you're only, as you see with Lopetegui now, he's under intense pressure to get results to keep himself in a job. Yeah. So unless you're sitting on a little diamond, sitting in that youth team where you think, you know what, he's going to help me save my managerial career at this football club, it's just so hard. It is so hard. Earthy was very lucky. Moyes gave him that opportunity, and he took it with both hands. All right, he got knocked out in one of the games, but he come back, he got the goal that he got, and now he's doing okay out on loan. I think the other youngster, the one at Wickham, he's doing quite well out on loan. Marshall's doing okay. So this is the thing. These youngsters now got to keep doing what they're doing, getting game time under their belt, because then they are footballers. Sitting, playing for the under-21s and sitting on the bench and not getting any game time, you're not a footballer. You're just blessed to be played to be part of a squad. You're a footballer when you've played football, when you've played games, consistently played games. And this is the thing now for youngsters. Take your opportunity out on loan. Go out on loan. Take the opportunity and then grasp it, and then get yourself back into the first team when you can. And just pray that the manager there is someone who's going to give you a go, because it is hard. It's not all on the players. It's not all on the manager. It's the mix of the two.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Let's talk about Daz wants to say, Scott, how's your singing going? Yeah, you've been keeping it up. Been spending them time doing them lessons, mate. You need to keep that up.
Wait, I ain't got no time. I would do, it'd be a laugh, but yeah, Nikki keeps telling me we're going to do something later on in the year, so like next year, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, we need to have a karaoke night. We need to do a karaoke. But yeah, let's talk a bit about Lopetegui, because a lot of pressure on him going into the Newcastle game. We got a win. We actually saw a performance. We saw a bit of progress, which was the big criticism of Lopetegui. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people still haven't changed. I'm still not fully convinced, but there's a sort of a question over, okay, could we potentially start to see an improvement? Does Lopetegui maybe deserve a bit more time to build on this and to really show what he can do? Does he, or is it just a case of it's never going to happen? We just sack now and just admit we made it mistake.
The thing is, it's the performance levels against Arsenal will tell us a lot about whether Newcastle was a fluke or Newcastle was Lopetegui finding his mojo. Do you know what I mean? This is the thing. I said this to you after the game against Newcastle. It's unfortunate that the game straight after that win, and that very good win away from home up there and keeping a clean sheet, is Arsenal. I know Leicester have got Van Nistelrooy now in as manager, so his first game in charge will be against us. So that new manager bounce could come into effect, but potentially going into a run of fixtures, you would have preferred to have Leicester and Wolves after you've come off the back of that good win. But again, I was chatting to Nicky doing the preview. We sit there and you look at it. The level of performance is the big thing for us now against Arsenal. It's you don't want to see us go over, roll over, and get our bellies tickled. We've been there. We've done that many and many a time. We've done that last season at one point. You want to say a bit. Look, Arsenal will have chances. Arsenal will probably have 20 shots on goal against us. Yeah, even we're the home side. That will probably happen. But you've got to be resolute in your defending. You need Fabianski to have a great game, but also you've got to be clinical when we get the ball and going forward, and that's what we need to see: the work rate, the effort, and the clinicalness in front of goal.
Yeah. So would you say like he deserves a bit more time? Then
I think so. I think so now. After that performance against Newcastle, I think he needs a couple more games. It's not. Look, what's it going to hurt in a couple more games? You'll tell a bit more about us in the levels of performances that we put in. As I said, the level of performance we put in against Arsenal, and then going up against the Leicester and the Wolves side, who, as much as Leicester are going to get a new manager bounce, as I said, they're beatable. They're winnable games.
Yeah. No, that's it. And look, I've said this, that to me, unless there is a clear top quality manager available, I would stick with him over fear of just going to get, sacking the Spanish David Moyes and going to get the German David Moyes in Terzic, right? That doesn't interest me. If we're stable, and I don't think we would go down. And I said this before the Newcastle game. I said this Sunday when someone said, "Oh, if you keep Lopetegui, you'll go down." I said, "I think we've got too much quality. There's enough in there to get enough results, and there's worse teams that I don't think there's any chance we go down if we keep Lopetegui." Therefore, I feel much happier to wait until we get an exciting, ambitious manager coming in, or someone that's going to progress. And I said all along, I think he's a transitional manager, Lopetegui. I think he gets us from Moyes to the next guy. So, I just want to enjoy watching West Ham, and I haven't for a lot of the season. I had to play patience, and my patience started wearing thin.
Yeah, and that's the thing, mate. But that's what we are as fans. We want to be entertained, and this is the tough concept, because you pay your money to go watch the team that you love and the team that you support, but you also want to be entertained. And sometimes entertaining football doesn't come with winning games. We see that. We were bored senseless sometimes under David Moyes, but went on to have 3 European tours. And this is the thing. You can sit there and watch boring football and win every game 1-0 and win trophies, or do you want to be entertained for the whole 90 minutes, but you might finish mid-table? It's a tough choice. What are you into football for? Do you want to win?
Yeah, but
or do you want it for the entertainment?
This winds me up, Scott, because I don't think you can't have one without the other. I don't think it's like, well, if you want to be entertained, you're not going to win. I don't think that's the two are exclusive.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's sometimes very hard. At the end of the day, football's about getting 3 points.
Yeah, but the problem is, Scott, if you're playing shit football, you don't just need to. For me, if we're playing boring football and we're winning in terms of we're up there and we're competing for Europe and stuff like that, we're in there, then that's fine. If we're playing shit football and we're finishing 8th, then no, I'm not going to accept it. Or we're squeaking out 7th. If we're playing shit football, for that to be worth it, I want to be comfortable Europa League, potentially challenging top 4s, and that's So Moyes, for that period when we were winning, you was able to be content with it because you're like, we're winning, we're in Europe, we're doing well. No one was complaining in Europa League when we was beating Lyon and Sevilla about the style of football.
Nope.
In fact, we looked a bit better in Europe in terms of style at that time.
Yeah, so we played better football in Europe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if we're just going to be playing shit football and being where we are and being mid-table, well, then that's just a waste of time. It's a waste of everyone's time.
Of course it is. Listen, when I've been a manager, I know I've been a manager of Sunday League football and that type of thing is completely different. But at the end of the day, you go out there to win. You don't care how you win, you just want to win. And that's what it all boils down to. You win at all costs, and that's what it's about. That's what you play football for. It's very similar to the analogy of when you sit there and go, I'd sacrifice having a good cup run as long as we finish in the top six, and stuff like that. But why? I'd rather win the FA Cup and finish 17th.
Oh yeah. This is the thing, and I said this to Jace on the watch on when he was like, "Oh yeah, I want a good cup run." Or was it Nick? Someone said that. And I said, "Cup run. I'd rather have a good cup run." And I said, "What is the value of a cup run?" Like I said, "Yeah, if you tell me I want to win the FA Cup, yeah." When people go, "Oh, as long as the manager comes in and gives us a good cup run," I don't give a shit about getting to a quarter final of an FA Cup, because what does that give you? At the end of the balance of the season, you don't remember that. You don't remember, we got to this semi-final. The final, okay, and to come as close as we did to beating Liverpool and have one of the best finals ever, I'll always remember that. But these cup runs, where people value a cup, we can have a good cup run. I want to win the cup. I know it's not easy.
But that's it, mate. Unless it's something special that, in a cup semi-final, say special happens, or it's in, that type of special game, you don't remember them. You don't remember where you finished in the Premier League 10 seasons ago. Look, there's people out there that will. There's people who know statistics, absolutely brilliantly, and will be able to tell you where we finish and where, and what season we finished where and how many goals we scored. But at the end of the day, you remember the trophies. You remember where you was when you win them trophies. And that's what football's about. And it just discredits the cups. And look, European football's got a lot of part to play there, because it is this: let's finish fourth and get the Champions League. That's success. It's not success. It's great playing against the European elite, but what's the point if you can't beat them?
But that's it. So for me, if you're, and I get it. And to me, I'm not total entertainment all the time. And my problem with Moyes wasn't that he played defensive football at times. It was the teams that he was going defensive and negative against, like the teams near the bottom of the table. I think that's unacceptable for us. I just feel like with the money you've spent, you should be able to go out and be on the front foot against teams near the bottom of the table. But we saw negative football. If it's against a Man City or an Arsenal or Liverpool, I know sometimes people call for just go at them. Yeah. But I'm not going to compare. When we beat Arsenal 2-1 last season at their ground, and they had flipping 40 shots or whatever it was, and was peppering our goal, and we done a smash and grab. We done 2-0, sorry. I was not complaining. I was buzzing. I thought, yes, we shit ass it. God, get in. But I don't want to see that every week. I don't want to see that against Luton or flipping Everton or Leicester. I can take it against those teams. That's my problem. It's always for some of these managers negative.
But in some respects, you look at this season, right? You look at the sides down near the bottom of the league that we've played. The Ipswich swept them apart 4-1. We beat who else did we beat? I can't remember who we beat this season. Palace. Team down at the bottom. We put them aside. We won that game. Beat Manchester United. We've took a big scalp in a club like Manchester United. Look, they ain't the Manchester United of old, and their fans need to realise that they're not the Man United of old. But it's still a big scalp to get. But like you said, it's then when you go and play. We got a point at Fulham, we got a point at Brentford, didn't we? When you go and play them sides, they're the sides in this transition. Because I'm with you, mate. This is a transition season, and probably next year as well, because it's a transition manager. So long as you're picking up points away from home there, that's fine. But like you said, you've got to be going, okay, we're going to play City. We're going to be a bit more defensive. We've got to work harder. We need to be a bit more, stable at the back, have our banks of 4 and 5, however we're setting up. But then when you play the Ipswich, right, well, we've got to be strong in defence, but we've got to play up there. We're playing in their third of the pitch. We're a better side than what they are. We're going to push them. We're going to pin them back. We're going to do what Manchester City do to us. To them. And that's what you need to do. And that's what you're saying. You see a different style against your opposition. Under Moyes, it was the same style no matter who we played. With us now, it needs to be that. Right, well, we can go. But on the flip side of that, look at teams that have had a go at the bigger sides this season. Bournemouth had a go at Arsenal. Yeah, I know. I think that was the game when Saliba got sent off. But you've got to have a go at these sides. You can't just be content on letting them have the ball, letting them shoot. You've got to find a way to play against them.
I think you've got to pick your moments.
Yeah, Sheffield United last season, I think, didn't they lose 2-1 at City? But they had a go at City. And this is the thing. You've got to get the right balance. You can't just defend, pray they don't score, and then we take our chances. Like we did against Chelsea last season, like we did against Brighton last season. We got peppered, but won the game because our keeper had a stormer. They couldn't finish. We took our chances.
Yeah. That's it. So listen, let's hope we bloody do it. With the Souček thing, and people think I hate Souček. I actually came out and said I think he has a place in the team. I don't want him sold. I think he had a place as a squad player coming off the bench and doing what he does. Like I said, I think he's a great professional. Seems like a lovely bloke. Love him. I want him to do the best, right? But my questioning was him in terms of being a midfielder in our team. When he doesn't score, what is he going to offer? So it all depends how he's utilised. Sometimes, he's not great in possession. That's his problem, I think. But, great in both boxes. So, but that's why I said, look, coming off the bench, great. But I hope he, really fits in and he is a mainstay because he is someone that will give everything for the shirt. And I can only ever respect him for that.
The thing is, mate, when you look at him, he's a player we've relied on heavily over the past 4 or 5 seasons, however long it's been with us. No matter how you look at it, even at times when he's been playing poor himself, he's still covered more, still worked harder, still put the effort in, still puts his body on the line for the side. And sometimes you do just need that type of player in the team. He's not the greatest in possession, but he does bring something to the side.
Yeah, that's it. So, listen, how you did the preview. You've had a few sleeps since the preview. Have you changed your prediction, changed your thoughts on the Arsenal game tomorrow?
I wish I had, mate. I wish I had. Look, it's one of them. Your heart and your head, they're competing, about it all. But I still don't see us beating them. I really don't. I don't think it'd be a trouncing like a lot of Arsenal fans are thinking and a lot of pundits are thinking. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't see us getting over the line on this one, to be honest, mate. I think for me, look, I'd love it if we won. I really, really would love it if we won, because Arsenal fans lately, they've whammed it. I'd rather have a sit down and have a conversation with a Spurs fan than some Arsenal fans at the minute, mate. And that says a lot. And that's not all Spurs fans and not all Arsenal fans. I know a lot of nice on both sides, but do you know what I mean? It's that they've got that sense of entitlement about them. And I was having this discussion with one of my mates who's an Arsenal fan, and I turned around and said, Arsenal won the same amount of trophies under Arteta as we did under Moyes. That's the project. That's the plan.
There you go. The process. So I completely agree. I say 2-2. Being fairly optimistic, we'll see. Like no Kudus, no Alvarez. Well, Alvarez will be available. He's not going to start.
He's back.
I wouldn't start. But no Todibo potentially. So, but look, as Mr. C says, expect the unexpected. Anything can happen in football. So,
Mavropanos goal again. That's what we want to see.
But this is the thing. If Mavropanos is playing, this is where we can't play that high line that Lopetegui's been favouring. Todibo can do that. We've seen what happens when Mavropanos is in a high line. It's a disaster.
Listen, the biggest problem for us is when you look at Arsenal, Odegaard's back in the side, pulling the strings. I think Martinelli got a goal, so his confidence is going to be high. And Saka's playing well at the moment. So it's going to be really, really tough. Really, really tough. Their attack is very, very good.
That's it. So, but do go check out the preview with Scott and Nicky. You can get a much bigger, deeper breakdown of the preview. I'm going to go and meet Nikki now. We've got Cecil from AFTV's birthday party. So I don't know why I've decided to spend my evening with a load of Arsenal fans. God help me.
All right, mate, it's better to do it now and then tomorrow night. Let's be honest. Just in
case.
Exactly.
And I'll collect all the receipts, and just in case we do beat them, because I'm going to sure they're going to be. I'm going to be, we're going to do this tomorrow. We're going to do that tomorrow. So that should be an interesting one for sure. Listen, we'll obviously be at the game tomorrow. Fan cams, post-match pint, all of that good stuff. And let's just hope we're bloody happy hammers. At least come out with some dignity. Come out with whatever happens. Just come out with some dignity and some pride. Please don't disgrace us again. That's all I ask.
Yep.
I'm not greedy.
Nope.
So listen, have a good one. And yes, watch along. Jay should be doing the watch along. Double C. Look all that. All that. Please, West. Please, football gods, if you exist or don't exist, just give us this, please. I need this more than ever. 6-0 West Ham. I would sell my soul for a 6-0 West Ham tomorrow. 7-0. Just do one better. But yeah, thank you, everyone. One thing left to say. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.